over at the end. Yeah, Cyberpunk not like that. No one's gonna come to you. Who are you? You're some punk from off the street. You know, you got to prove yourself. You got to go out there and make a name for yourself. No one's just gonna walk up to you in the bar and say, "Hey, you don't know me, but I'm willing to pay you to do something dangerous." It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Not in my universe.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's more like, hey, here's an email. If you do this, I'll pay you this.
Oh, like I said, until somebody makes a name for themselves, no one's going to come to them. You know, you
Oh,
have
of
to go and
course
say,
not.
"Hey," you go to your local bookie or your local pawnbroker. "Hey, I need some work. You got any bounties you need picked up?" Or so it's always like you have to hustle. You have to make a name for yourself. You have to go out there. No one's going to come to you and give you anything. Kind of like real life.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the only difference, like D&D as a DM for like a little bit, I've done it. The to get a players in interactive is to put them in a spot where they have no either they have no choice or they have a choice to do something. And for any role playing game, it's do you put a bounty board or do you just go ahead and throw them into like a dungeon? And say, hey, you're all in a dungeon now. You might want to escape.
Right. Well, I have no dungeons to put anybody in, but that dark and seedy part of town that your car broke down in, you guys gotta make it out of there alive.
Oh yeah. See, when I hear like cyberpunk and stuff, I think of Ghost in the Shell, those
Yep.
kind of aspects of we're on the brink of
It,
technology taking over, and you're like, well, okay, I'm gonna do this. Days X, that's the game I was thinking of in my head.
yep. I played it. I like it. It's very cyberpunk. But that's just it. I think Mad Max, Terminator, RoboCop, Deus Ex, Ghost in the Shell. It's all cyberpunk.
Oh yeah, I think I love the aspect of those because you can go sorcery all the time, and be like, well, okay, I want to play Dungeons and Dragons, be like, I really like the mechanics of like a laser gun and like all these other stuff. Which are systems out there. I mean, there's some D6 versions. There's some D20 uh, sci-fi games out there. There's oh crap, there's so many out there with different systems. Like you gotta find one that you like and one that
Hmm.
actually works and not as difficult off the bat. I mean, with D&D, you can actually put yourself in a futuristic world. They have the actual like setting for in a world where it's like close to the near future of cyberpunk style, but it's, using a D20 roll system.
Okay. And that's another good thing about Cyberpunk versus Shadowrun. Shadowrun, they've had 5 editions, 5 chances to get the system right over the last 30 years. Like, okay, it took you guys 5 editions to start actually doing this thing right. Cyberpunk did it right the first time. Well, let's say the second time because it's 1.0 and 2.0, 2.0 being 2020. But the system is still basically the same. Skill, stat, D10, and applicable modifiers. That's it. And you roll 1d10.
Yeah, which sometimes either the dice roll, the more people that will be able to go. All right, I'm gonna jump in this. So, I mean, but Shadowrun was more of a PC game for a long time. I mean, they might have ran it once for um like a table, but once they put it into the actual like mechanics of like a PC game, it got really big. I don't know which one came first, which is kind of like one thing in my head. I'm like trying to think of was it the PC version or was it the tabletop version came first? Because usually if it's the PC
Tabletop.
version, okay, so what's tabletop? So when you try to take a
Yeah, because
tabletop
Cyberpunk.
and put it into a PC version, and the PC version gets a lot of hits, people are like, oh, I'm gonna play the tabletop, and then you're like, this is nothing like the PC version.
Yeah, because the original Cyberpunk came out in I think it was 88, and Shadowrun came out in 89. Yeah. So yeah, Cyberpunk came out first, then came Shadowrun, then came the PC version of Shadowrun. Cyberpunk never did a PC version that I know of, but they did do a card game called Netrunner, CCG.
I haven't played
So
that.
it's defunct.
Oh,
It
okay,
has been
so it's
for a
not
number of years.
worth it.
So
But
I mean, it's
so
okay. Card games to do nostalgia with, but
oh, definitely. I mean, there's so many systems out there and so many different versions of games, and
yeah, Marvel has been defunct for 20 years, and but people still play it because they made a ton of books and it was so well supported during its run, like with its articles in the Dragon magazines and things like that, that you can still play a full Marvel game, 20 years hence. It's just that good. And it's a perfect superhero game because every action is a panel in the comic book. You're swinging your laser fist at a guy's head. That's one panel of a comic. I mean, one panel of a comic. Yeah. You don't have to roll this number and this stat on that and da, da, da. Yeah, it's just too complicated. It's a comic book. It's superheroes. Make it quick. Make it dirty.
So it's basically like, so give me an example of when you roll for an attack in Marvel, because I'm kind of like going like, all right, so you just roll the dice and you're like, boom, that's it.
I mean, there's a chart that gives you degrees of success, and but when you're doing player versus player, it's roll versus roll, and when you're, let's say, rolling, let's say, a martial arts hit, your martial arts might be better than this guy's martial arts. However, he got his defenses up quicker, and he was able to block you, or you got a perfect result, which is 100 because a percentile game,
Also, it's like
and
it's basically you have 2d10, you roll, and that's what you're. Oh wow, that made
right,
me
and
confused
then
so fast.
cross reference your stat number with your roll number, and that gives you a color result. White is a failure, green is a success, uh, yellow is you know better, and red is spot on, depending on what you're doing.
So basically, it's that your
So
red's your crit.
yeah, your reds are your crits.
So basically, when
Your,
you hit a red, you're like when you got a guy hits a red, he's like yes.
yeah, right. So not only did you connect with the guy, but you sent him flying through the door.
Oh, that's awesome.
With a green, you might have connected. Uh, Yellow, you connected. Knocked the wind out of him. Red, you knocked him through the door.
So is there how's damage done exactly?
Damage is our predetermined. It's every attack you can. Let's say not attack. Every power you can buy at a certain level. So let's say you have a fireball that does 15, well, 20 points of damage because it usually does it in tens.
Mm-hmm.
So if the guy actually takes damage, he's going to get hit for that 20 points of damage, and it's kind of fixed unless he has body armor to reduce that.
Okay, so you have your armor.
So
Your armor just reduces the max damage they can do to you.
right, right. But the player also has the option of dialing back the attack. So let's say I have my full strength of this fireball is say 40, but I choose to dial it back to 20, just because I'm just trying to scare this guy, not trying to barbecue him. So players do have the option of not use pulling their punches. They have the option of pulling their punches.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, so you can basically say like this is gonna do 15 points damage, but I only want to show them that I mean business by doing like a 3 to the balls, just a nice little cap, just to mean I mean business, but not to really hurt them.
Right, right. You do have that option with Marvel.
Oh, that's awesome. I like that. Cause whenever you roll damage in again Dungeons and Dragons, you're basically
Mm-hmm.
all right. I have a potential of doing 14 damage to son of a bitch, and that's the whole thing of D&D is just rolling. Hopefully, God, you hit the high numbers. If not, it's just like, all right, he takes 3 points of damage.
I didn't like it's like when I was playing it, and I think it was either the first or second time, and I wanted to roll my defense. I wanted to dodge out of this guy's way. Oh, you can't do that because you have this number here, and it just automatically does. I want to take my defense in my own hands. I want to, either dodge this thing by myself or get hit by myself. I don't want the system to say, no, you just sit back and watch what we do. And, my defense, my character, I want to leap out of the way. No, no, no. Your DC or your whatever is lower than this, so he's going to hit you. And it's like, no, it's just, no,
Now,
no.
when
I have.
when something's attacking the player, does he have the option to does he have to roll percentile as well to see if he can dodge the hit or?
Yep, he sure can.
See, that's kind of cool. But again, that'd be very frustrating. I'm gonna dodge. Hey, a dodge. which for
Right, exactly.
for superheroes, I mean that's an aspect of it's. They should be able to dodge almost anything, especially if they have powers and abilities that not many people realize. So it's kind of cool. I like the system because I've thought about making a system for like a role play system and using either D10s or using D6s, just to kind of like change things around. I was working on a card game that you could do that with. It would be you have your basic players, you have basic cards, and then you have ability cards, and then you have special cards, and then you basically fight against a giant monster, and then you would have your cards you lay down. It tells you how many dice to roll, and if you hit all three of those dice on the same number, you allow that attack to go through and actually do damage. But I'm still working on just mechanics and stuff, because right now the mechanics are just like, this is going to happen, and then I break it by doing, oh, well, you can do this too. Because halfway through, I'm like, all right, we're going to do this. It's going to be awesome. But again, this is all left and right going. Plus, my ADD kicks in. I forget about it for like 2 months and realized it's sitting in my desk going, hey, you should probably look at this again. So I come back forth. I think I've been working over like 2 years now.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's
Cyberpunk, as far as that goes, if it's a physical attack that, player versus player or environment versus player, as long as it's a projectile that he have a chance to dodge. But yeah, if somebody's shooting at you, you're not going to dodge something moving twice the speed of sound. So yeah, there's no dodging bullets. No matter how good a reflex, or if you've even gotten your reflex boosted, you're still not going to be, dodging per se. You can duck for cover if you see somebody raising their arm to shoot at you, yes. But as far as like once that gun has been fired, it's all a matter of are they on target or not.
Definitely.
They are you.
Yeah. So yesterday I did an interview with Jason, who's a dungeon master, and we brought up riddles. Is there any riddles in your any riddles that you use in your campaigns? Like, let's put it this way: do you have a good riddle that you would put to your players that would kind of like get them going, oh my god, I don't know what's this, that, no, I don't know.
No, that's generally not a element of either Cyberpunk or Marvel. I mean, it could be added in, but as a general mechanic, it's not something that's ever used, at least in my experience.
So you don't use any kind of like riddles or anything like that in your campaigns at all?
No, not as such. I mean, there are things that people have to figure out, but that's just like investigation. It's just, once you've gotten to location X, it's like, hey, how do I open this, thumbprint lock? Oh, I got this guy's thumbprint. So it's not like to sit there and tappy and that sort of thing. Generally, that sort of thing is, if you're going to do it, it would probably be in the form of net running, which is another aspect of the cyberpunk unused, Shadowrun as well. Person projecting their consciousness onto the net itself to, either take over a camera or open up a bank vault or things like that. So if there were riddles to be solved, it would most likely be in a net running scenario.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but as like I said, the physical meat and potatoes of the thing, yeah, not as a regular thing.
Oh, that's neat. See, I like the different aspects to different games mean a lot of things to a lot of people, and it's when you get into the nitty gritty of like story and everything, bogging down a lot of the story with like, well, you have to figure this out or you can't go past this point. Well, then I shoot the lock, and a lot of times that's exactly how far you. I mean, I had a player who I said, okay, the door's locked. Well, what does the door look like? It looks like wood with stone bevels into it. Okay. I'm going to use my key. You don't have a key. Oh, I have a key. You do not have a key. I'm using my axe. I have a key. And he would chop down the door and attempt to break it open. And it's one of those things you look at, you go, are you seriously going to do this? And he goes, yes. And he'll roll a natural 20, which it's like rolling the crit on any rolls where you're just the marble system is like,
Yep.
it's gonna happen. You can't stop it from happening. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think all games have a crit system. It's, they might take a different mechanic, but it's always, critical failure or critical success.
Yeah, and it gives that flavor they want. So it's like, well, I'm going to shoot my arrow straight at the guy's eye. Well, you rolled a crit. That arrow just flies in and goes right through his pupil, and it sticks in there, and he can't see now, and he's freaking out. And he becomes more berserk, and he wants to kill everything in his eye. It's like it's these things that you can take a little bit of here and a little bit of there and just watch them squirm. And then you, as a dungeon master and a game master, you see a lot of players do things you're like, that won't work. Holy crap, that just worked.
Mhm. And that's another thing you got for any new, I guess you would say. I had a character in Cyberpunk he was on the street, um, row of houses, and he had to sneak past the guy who was standing there at the door. Well, he rolled a critical for Cyberpunk. When you roll a critical, you get to roll one more die to add to that. Well, there's no way that he can logically sneak past the guy from, there's a row of parked cars, the steps leading down to the street, and, the guy up at the top of the stairs. No logical way for him to be able to actually sneak past him, no matter how good a roll he has. So that's when you have to be clever. So you roll your thing. Oh, somebody in the house called him long enough for you to be able to sneak by.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, create conditions that make sense. Let's say, okay, I made this crit roll, but logically there's no way for it to actually happen. Environment, hey, somebody called me back there. Let me turn back for just 10 seconds, long enough for my player character to get past
Yeah.
and do his thing.
Yeah, it's like watching a movie when you see a guy's like, oh, I'm gonna sneak by this guy. He walks by and he's like, hey Jim, yeah, what's up? And next thing he knows, he walks right by. And like, see, that's
Bingo.
perfect timing. But it's more of a perfect roll that would help them more than anything.
Right, but like I said, because the way the street was set up, like you said, if you step out of your, house and there's in a cityscape, of course, houses with cars parked out front. Okay, I can see you over. I can still see you, but so again, being clever, something happened that allowed that roll to happen. So, because logically, no matter how good a roll he's got, you're standing out in the street. You can't sneak by anyone
Oh,
unless
definitely.
they're distracted.
Which that's probably one of the best things about the roll system and stuff is it's as a master of the games, so to say, you're having to think on the fly a lot of the time. So improvisation is a big part of being a good dungeon master or game master, is being able to go, all right, well now here's where we need to go. So it's like I mean. For me personally, I know that going into games, you have two mentalities. You have the I'm gonna railroad them all the way to where they need to go, or I'm gonna move everything in their path so I don't have to do anything really that much strenuously, but I'm gonna let them do what they want. Which is a lot of people don't realize is there's two DMs and GMs. There are ones that will tell you what needs to happen, and they will be god of that world, or they will allow the players to do what they want to do and enjoy the game. Enjoy them being part of that world, which a lot of people don't understand. Is like when you see these forums and people are like, what do I do about this player who's being a total dick in my game? Kill him. Like the first thing you see, like I've read them, they just straight up kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. Set him on fire for a little bit, kill him. I mean, it's like, why? I mean, you're gonna not have these players want to play anymore if you're just gonna kill them.
Right. If you can't find a more clever way of doing it, then maybe you should be a player and not a game master or a dungeon master. It's you have to think on your feet. You have to, because as they say, hurting players is like hurting cats. They are not going to go in the direction you want them to go in. Forget about it. Ain't happening.
No, definitely
You can
not.
lead your bread.
You need that little red dot.
Breadcrumb.
Just need that dot laser pointer. Just go this way. No, this way. But after a while, they will get tired of that pointer and be like, all right, we know I'm going this way.
Exactly. So any new game master has to be, quick on his feet. Don't get butthurt if they, dismantle your plans right before your eyes, and that's where the improvisation comes in. It's like, okay, damn, they just Oh, damn, what do I do now? And just follow a logical progression. What would happen next in the story? Don't worry about what's happening in your story. They've done this thing. What are the other three things that could happen from the action they've just taken? But you have to be quick when you do that. It's like chess. You have to think 3 steps ahead. My character is just pissed in a briefcase that the corporation wanted. What are the 3 things that can happen? He could surrender, and they would take him into custody. Could be defiant and get turned into a pink mist, or he could try to run away, which was not an option in that case. But there's always something that's going to happen because of, and if you think about what that something could be, then you're not going to be, stuck as much.
Yeah. So okay, so last question. Well, this will pretty much finish it up. As a GM, what for new players of games who have GMs and DMs and they're having issues with the game or something's wrong with the game with them and they feel uncomfortable. What's the best way to talk to your GM? Like for them, like if they're having an issue with either another player or the game and they're like, well, I don't understand this, or why'd you do this kind of thing. What's the best way then for talk to you as a GM to basically not say like, hey, you're doing a shitty job as a GM, but hey, I'm having this issue. Why did this happen? Kind of thing.
If it's happening in game, I take notes. In this case now, it's modern technology. We can actually send text, but hey, what's going on in you know that time frame. But if it's versus another player, then always come to your GM afterwards. Say, hey, I've got this problem, and not trying to be a dick or anything, but this element of the game or the crowd made me feel uncomfortable. A good GM will definitely step in. Let's say somebody's feel like he's being bullied. The GM will definitely step in and say, hey, to take the other person off, doesn't have to be together, just, okay, you told me this, I'm going to go over here and talk to him about that. And, the GM is going to, referee, this real life situation. And that's how it works for me. It's like, okay, you have a problem. Or if you have a problem with the mechanic in the game, then like I said, a GM note, hey, why is this happening here? Say, oh, I'll explain over here and send him a text message back. Or if it's big enough where it's really bothering him, then I'll do a sidebar after the game, or we'll take a recess or something like that, and trying to get the issue resolved.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
sometimes I had a friend who he had luck manipulation, and what that is the best thing the best thing that can possibly happen to you will happen to you. They were fighting some invading aliens in Marvel. He falls down, falls flat on his face, breaks his nose. That can't happen. I have luck manipulation. That was the luckiest thing could have happened to you because there was a disintegrator ray coming right at your head.
Nice. But you're not pretty no more. But you have a face. I mean, come on. So,
So
one thing I've really pulled from the conversation with you today is a GM is more aspects the same as a dungeon master, just a different system, but you're more inclined to other things than sorcery and stuff like that. But again, the definition for a GM, a game master, dungeon master, almost the exact same thing. It's just that you are the storyteller, you are the god of your world, and you understand that your players are your key players, and you want them to feel that they are bigger than anything in this world.
correct. That's the feeling I want them to leave with. It's like we did this amazing thing. Our characters really solve the puzzle, or put that bad guy behind bars forever, or you know we got that secret piece of technology that the corporation was going to use to control the streets, or something like that. But they have to be in the spotlight.
Which is actually r-
You're
really cool, as well as different little things here and there with the games, the mechanics, and everything. Which I really like that whole that percentile dice aspect of it. Because I might actually start looking into actually that game
Yeah.
system because I think it'd be kind of fun to play for a little bit.
And that's why I like things like not only Marvel and Cyberpunk, but I also play Star Wars and other things like that. They don't have levels, so there's nothing there's no motivation to go out and stab things. It's like okay, you're going to get some experience points, but there's no levels to shoot for, so your experience is just going to help you build new skills or build contacts. But there's no I have to get this level so I can go get this thing so I can kill this other thing, and that whole kill loot XP repeat mentality that
Yeah.
I've encountered in so many D&D players.
Yeah, a lot of it is it's based off of actually originally it was like only I believe only 10 levels because after Guyzak and all them said like after you hit level 10 you're just like well we'll retire these characters, we'll start some new ones, have some more fun. But after a while you got people who want to play the same characters over and over and over. Now you're on level 20, then you have epic levels and you have all these other levels that go in left and right and you're like okay, well just keep playing, but at the same time you're like I just want to kill things. I just want to play. I want to enjoy the world. And you don't want to worry about, like, okay, I can't use this spell because I'm not high enough level. But once I get this level, I can use this spell. A lot of people love that.
Right. Right. I think that's, part of the downside of level games. It's, you can't appreciate where you are if, oh, there's something on this shelf over here, but I just can't quite reach it, so I have to go do this. So you're not focused on where you are. You're not focused on the now. You're just focused on what's up there. And that's why, level games aren't quite my forte.
Yeah.
I want characters to be able to appreciate, where they are in the game and where they are in the universe. And again, you can't, appreciate, oh, damn, this is a great place to be. Oh, I see something better up there. I'm going to go for that. I don't care what's happening down here. I'm just going to go for that.
Yeah. Which a lot of aspects of games come to that way is if you want to bring a world together and you want them to start out as like peasants and come up from a grandeur of just like, again, level systems have awesome ways of making you feel even more powerful because, yeah, you might not have to be able to use that spell to that, but as the game goes on, you start leveling up like you would in real life, how you would learn new things and all that stuff. Having these abilities down the road would be awesome. Like, you don't want to give them every little trick in the handbook right off the bat, but you want them to appreciate it when you get them.
Right. This is true. You do definitely want them to appreciate it. So, yeah, if you work for it, you appreciate it more. Unless it's just, given to you, say, oh, I've got this, magical item. I don't care. I didn't have to work for it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if you, had to lose and, nearly gotten killed twice, to acquire X item, this is mine. I appreciate this. I almost died twice for this.
Yeah, which a lot of
Great.
D&D's gone that way now. The 5th edition goes that way. It's more of, hey, you can have this item if you find it. But it's more of like everything's randomly generated in most campaigns, so you have like, all right, well, I'm going to get this item if I can figure out this would be a cool item to have, but at the same time you're like, oh, we can get this item, but it's going to cost me a shit ton. Damn. But I want it. I want it bad. So you have a lot of aspects of different games. I mean, the level system's great for if you want to start at a low level and you do a long campaign, which a lot of D&D is more centered around like campaigns and everything, like long campaigns. I think I've been playing my girls would play for 3 months, and almost every week on Tuesday we would play, but we're having to kind of slow down due to the fact that my schedule is I'm night shift and I can't do the 11 o'clock on Tuesdays anymore. It just kills me.
What they do?
Say again?
I thought you used to play during the week.
Yeah.
You play during the day? Oh, okay. So we always generally played weekends, like a Friday evening or a Saturday morning and things like that.
Yeah. Well, see, I work in a shipping department for a unknown company. And I get Mondays and Tuesdays off only. So I'm pretty much stuck doing Monday, Tuesdays are my best time to play because I'm off. But again, I have a son and a wife who want time with me too. So it's like I would like to be sleeping and be able to spend time with them for a little bit. And I don't mind playing, but it's at the same time, it's like I have to be happy. Especially
Right. That's
medication
why.
wise, you have to be able to take your medication certain times and every day at the same time, or it doesn't work.
Well, I said that's why, like I said, I started encapsulating my games because life happens. But I want you to see, the end of the rainbow. I mean, you start off on this end, but I want you to see what's at that other end. So if we try to drag this out over 2 years, you're never going to see it because this game is going to fizzle out, and somebody's going to go over here and get sick, or somebody's going to move away, and they'll say, okay, bam, get that overdone. Then you can move on to another one. But
Yeah, definitely. Well, Phil, I'd like to thank you for coming on and talking about being a game master and everything. I mean, I've never played those systems, and I really want to look into them now because now I'm kind of intrigued. And I think that's what a lot of these things do is you're like, oh, that sounds really cool. I want to try that.
well, if you're willing to try, I mean, go to classicmarvelforever.com. You'll see every book that they've ever made. If you find it interesting enough that you want to try a session, I run every week. It's easy enough to plug in a person because my game universe is, mutant cops.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So, oh yeah,
So do you
yeah.
play like the cop theme music before every game?
No, most we do it we do it via Skype. So
Oh, cool.
you know, at, yeah, because there are two people in Canada, one guy in Frostburg, Maryland, the other guy here in Maryland, but maybe a 40-minute drive from me. So
Yeah, James is
we
in Canada, up near Toronto.
okay, yep. So yeah, we do it via Skype, and when I used to do it, in person, sometime I would play theme music,
Yeah.
but yeah, via Skype is just too much background noise, and
You should look into Zoom. It's actually for the amount of people you have. I think it's well, for free you get about 40 minutes, but for basically like a meeting like this, but for like I think like $15 a month you get unlimited minutes and upload to cloud if you want to. You can record every session. Like I record this on this and then my OBS, so I have two separate recordings. But
okay,
this thing's pretty cool because you're allowed to do so much more. Like I could actually add in like I could share my whole desktop and have everyone
right.
on the sidebar. So I can pull up papers like,
Oh,
hey, this is a forum for this. What do you ever think? Or type up something up for everybody. You can see everyone's going, oh, that's so cool. They have a blackboard. They have all sorts of cool things.
nice, nice.
And the
Like I
quality's
said,
10
my
times
offer.
better.
You ever want to try a session of Cyberpunk? I'm not sure where you could pick up the PDFs for those, but
Oh, I can find them. Trust me.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I got
Take
friends
your
who play
time.
all sorts of. My brother actually used to work for Wizards of the Coast. Back
Okay.
in the day when they were right before the second edition of Pokemon cards came out. I know that much. And he went. No, actually, he was there when the first edition of Pokemon cards. He was actually a gym leader for Wizards of the Coast of Seattle. So
Oh, sweet.
he knows a lot of different like games. He played 40K and stuff like that.
Okay,
But
yeah, I played a little battle tag. Yeah.
so I really I want to kind of try a couple of those because I think they're fun to like the mechanics of it. It was like you have a bunch of squads and you just attack something. I mean, you can make some really cool stuff.
Mm.
But I get off subject again because I have my OCD and ADHD is kicking in again. So I started talking about other fun things like, oh, we could do this, and this, and that. But I got to get up. I have to go. So thank you again, Phil, for coming out and joining us. Hopefully we'll have you on again for a roundtable with a bunch of other Dungeon Masters and GMs down the road,
My
which
pleasure.
I'll definitely let you know when that's going to happen ahead of time. But thank you everybody for
Absolutely.
coming out and enjoying the nice talk with Phil and about being a GM and all the fun stuff. So if you have any other questions about a GM or a DM, make sure to put them in the comments so we can figure out what to ask these guys because I only can have so many questions to keep asking them. So I leave it up to you guys to figure that out. Exactly. And not every GM or DM is going to give you the same answer. So if you think
No.
that's going to happen, then you're completely 100% wrong. Please go ahead and follow me at Dark Lord Fluffy, at Dark Lord Fluffy. That's 3 F's at the end of Fluffy for Twitter. And you'll find out the next episode. Subscribe so you make sure you don't miss one of these. Because the next time we do a big my first round table coming up, I want to make sure that we might have a giveaway or something at the end of it. So do make sure you stay tuned and come join us again for another one. And thanks again, Phil, and we'll see you next time on Meet Your Masters of D&D Special Edition Game Master.